Okay. Hello, all. Kashmira was born in Anand, Gujarat, and educated in Mumbai and Bangalore. She moved to Brazil in the 80s, where her journey with clay began. After 11 years in Brazil, she settled in Oxford, her home ever since. With a practice spanning over 15 years, her ceramics weave together Indian symbolism, Japanese wabi-sabi philosophy, and the refined elegance of her English craft. Over to you, Kashmira. You can
Yeah.
start the presentation.
Yeah, okay, thank you. You have the presentation PowerPoint? Are you going
Yeah.
to put the PowerPoint? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'm starting. Kashmira?
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just, yeah.
You want me to talk about it or let people
Yeah.
read? Yeah.
You can talk a little bit about it, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So a small presentation here for you all. A practice which is led by heart and hands. You all are clay artists. You know how your hands and your feelings and your vibes come into your creations. So this is exactly what I do as well. So like I was introduced, I have spent quite a few decades in different countries, and now I'm finally settled in Oxford, doing what I love doing. My clay and my style is organic forms, earthy palettes, wabi-sabi, sculptural, more sculptural than utilitarian, imperfectly perfect, rough and smooth, very organic shapes. I'm sure many of you do create the same kind of textures and tactile surfaces like I do. So bear with me if you think you've already done what I'm doing. It'll be from my perspective today. I've done quite a lot of pit firing processes, which is using organic materials and putting them all in a fire under a pit, bringing lovely textures and colors into it. So here's my journey: Brazil, early brushstrokes, workshops and mentorships in different countries while I've been traveling, settled in Oxford, and made my home here, invested in my studio, my kiln, and then I had to go a bit more deep into it. A year of my year in an art school and investing in a kiln, and here I am doing workshops for students in Oxfordshire. My inspirations come from earthy tones, the nature, the birds, ancient trees, lichen, and a lot of architectural pieces as well. Wabi-sabi has been a big influence for me, even before I had visited Japan. It's just the beauty in simplicity and the beauty in imperfection, which has given me this lovely inspiration of creating with clay. Some of my sculptures have gone to some good galleries here in Oxfordshire. Mother Earth Bhumi was created during COVID times, and it had a very deep meaning for me and for the people who displayed it for me too. I've used oxides and glazes on it. Shakti, another one, which is divine strength, was another sculpture which I was honored, and it was displayed at the Modern Art Oxford, a very prestigious art gallery here. These are my moon jars. The last 5 years, I've been fixated by these moon jars, pots in simple word, matka in simple language, Indian language. And I've just been fascinated by making these big, small, round, abnormal, tactile shaped moon jars. So these are some of my textures which I'm creating, and I will show you some of them today. These are my photos of my travels. Wherever I go, I try to see if there's a pottery village or there's a pottery community nearby. And obviously, India is my biggest inspiration. Every village, every city in India, or every community has a Kumbhar Wada. So I try to visit every Kumbhar Wada I go, wherever I go. Japan was a learning curve for me. A residency there for a month was really eye-opening. And surprisingly, I even taught my techniques to some of the Japanese master people there. Greece was another residency I did this year, and again, learned a lot of different techniques, wood ash, volcanic glazes, and other stuff. So residencies really help you evolve and bring out the best in you, because you are outside your comfort zone and you want to really make stuff which really gives you enough time. You really need 3-4 weeks to do a residency. I really recommend you to do residency if you can. So these are photos of my travels, and thank you for listening to me. And we can get on with our little demonstration here. So I will be doing about 3 demonstrations with you this afternoon. One would be just simple using slips and textures and textiles. And that's my first demonstration. Second demo, we will be using some chemicals like silicon carbide to make volcanic crater-like bubbly textures using volcanic ash, slips, some grog, and silicon carbide. And the third demo would be using another sodium silicate, which is liquid glass, to make crackle surface textures on a soft clay form. So these are the three demonstrations I shall be doing for you today. I hope you enjoy it and learn something, go back and learn something from me, or just get inspired. That is the main thing. So let's get started. This one. Now you need the headphones. So here I've got a small pot I've made with, it's a white clay, and it's not leather hard, it's still quite soft. And I'm going to start using some slips. Obviously, you have used slips before. So we're going to start using some slips just to make some textures. I've used like a mesh you get in your fruit packaging to create some design. And then I'm going to use some different kind of, just splatter different a kind of slips just to get different colors. You don't want to have a methodical kind of slip design, just different white, gray, pink, and overlapping slips will give you that lovely kind of effect when it's fired. So I'll use a bit of bright color as well, which is a parakeet green, and just splashes of it. So this is just slip. This is just applying slips, and then with different textured tools. I'm going to take this mesh off and see how wonderful the design has come here. And here I'm going to use some textures without the slip, because we're going to maybe do some oxides after your bisque fire. Well, I won't be able to show you that now, but you can use different oxides in these textures and the slips. I have different tools here where I always like to enhance the textures. So this is a very basic technique of creating simple textures on white clay or any clay using slips. A simple technique, but just gives that lovely Now this pot, once fired, bisque fired, will give these lovely different colors, and then you can enhance it again with your glazes, or just use a transparent crackle glaze over it, and it will be a beautiful, colorful pot. I'm going to show you a similar pot which I had made earlier, but it has two firings. So this was the first bisque fired, and then I had applied some more glazes over it, and I have the pot somewhere here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the pot which I had used sort of different glazes and slips over it. 3 firings, and so that's the pot. Right, so this is the first demonstration of simple slip trailings using slips and textures. I'll take this pot away, and then we'll start with the other demonstration, which is using silicon carbide with different textural stuff. If you just bear with me, I'll take my initial ingredients away and bring the ingredients which we are going to make. Right. So we are going to use what's called silicon carbide. It's a chemical, is an additive to create specialized glaze effects. like volcanic or crater glazes. When fired, the silicon carbide reacts to form gas, creating bubbles and craters in the glaze. So to make that, we can use silicon carbide just with a little bit of slip or water, and it'll create bubbles like these straight away. Or what I have with experimentations and different techniques and adding different things, added a few more other layers of grog, volcanic ash, and silicon carbide, and giving this lovely kind of volcanic crater kind of effect. Obviously, it all depends how thick you apply, how little or more you use the silicon carbide. So this is what's called silicon carbide 200 mesh. 200 mesh is the kind of grossness. So the more gross it is, the more gas it will produce. So 200 is quite an average kind of silicon carbide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix that with a slip. So here I have a little mixture of what I've done. So it's silicon carbide, 80% of the white slip. So white slip, silicon carbide, volcanic ash. Now, volcanic ash is obviously difficult to find unless you visited some volcanoes and you've gone there and pinched quite a bit of volcanic ash. Otherwise, you can use grog, which is just a normal clay grog, which we get. So I'm going to mix volcanic ash to give the nice effect. Now, silicon carbide is a very explosive kind of chemical, so you have to just be careful how much you use. So I'm going to use the same amount of volcanic ash with the and silicon carbide. Mix it. Obviously, add some grog. This is quite like our Indian cooking, just add this and just add that, and you get a nice mixture. But obviously, a bit of judgment as well is needed here. I'm going to add a bit of white slip just to give a nice thick consistency. So now this is my mixture. I like to add quite a bit of grog into my piece because the effect it gives is a very nice crater-like effect. So now I'm going to use a nice thick brush on a form which I have already made. Now this form is a little sculptural kind of a dish, which you can add stains to it. So you can add some color if you want, but I quite like the natural thing. Now, nice thick coats would really give a good effect. Right, so this is what is a kind of a crater volcanic mix. Once it's fired, the carbon will react with oxygen to create the gas. And this gas will escape creating bubbles and craters, giving a lovely textured effect. So let me show you another piece which has that effect. Right, so this is the piece where the mixture has been applied, and you can see once it's glazed. So you're bisque firing this, and you can add a bit of color on it when you're firing it the second time. And the second firing is at least cone 6, 1230 degrees. That will really, the high fire will give this effect. So during your bisque fire, you will have little effect, and you might be a bit disappointed, or you might think, oh, it hasn't given effect. You can do another layer of the same mixture after your bisque, and then you'll get a nice effect. So this is what's called silicon carbide mix with. Now this is pure silicon carbide on black clay, just for me to experiment how much bubbles it creates. I'm not very fond of using silicon carbide on its own because the bubbles are quite, they don't form craters. They don't really, they're just, but it's, having said that, it's still a beautiful effect on black clay. But this one is going to give you a nice textured, organic kind of effect once it's misfired and it's high fired the second time. Like I said, you can again do another layer of the same mixture after you misfired. Use some colors, stains if you would want to, or you can even use some wood ash if you find. So ash from the woods. This is oak wood ash. And if you mix that with the same mixture, you will get something nice, cratered texture as well. So this is the colored mix, and this is the plain raw mix. So I hope you're following me nicely, and I'm not going too slow or too fast, and you're following this process easily. So this will be then obviously bisque fired. And I will put it on my Instagram once this piece is ready. If anybody wants to see it, please follow my Instagram and check how these pieces have come out after the thing. So I will bisque fire it, and then maybe use some stains or just some oxides maybe to give a nice effect. So here we are using different chemicals, adding natural ingredients with it, and creating some lovely textures. So I will take this piece now on. I will take this piece away and then introduce you to my third demonstration will be, which is using liquid glass, which is called sodium silicate, which is quite a nice material to practice on clay. So sodium silicate is used in pottery to make clay casting and to create distinctive crackled surface textures. So for crackling, it's applied on clay form, soft clay form, dried with heat to create a good hard outer layer, and then maybe using some slips as well, causing the surface to crack in unique organic patterns. The size and the nature of the cracks can be controlled by the amount of sodium silicate we might use, drying time, and amount of stretching too. So here I'm going to bring some more ingredients on my table, take the older ones out, and right. So now I'm ready for the third demonstration, which is quite interesting and very exciting too. So this is the white slip. This is sodium silicate. And this is the foam which I have scooped out from a block of clay. It's like kurinuki kind of thing. So we're going to first make textures. Bring your kitchen into your studio. Bring your kitchen knives. Bring your textured tools from your kitchen, your balun, anything which is texturing things in your kitchen comes into your studio as well. I'm forever going from my studio into my kitchen, either mixing glazes or mixing spices or baking chocolate cakes or firing in the kiln. So this is what life is about. So here, this is what I've done, just create some textures. And then we're going to apply some sodium silicate. You have to be very careful with sodium silicate. Once you've used the brush, you have to wash it off straight away. Otherwise, that brush goes back into the bin, which you don't want. And I try to use some of my favorite brushes sometimes, and I have to be very careful if I'm using chemical. So here I'm applying a good thick layer of sodium silicate. And now what we have to do is we have to let it dry. And obviously, we let it dry quite well. To form a nice layer. Something. sodium silicate brush in the water. And now we're going to use the white slip on top of it. Again, you could use colored slips as well, but because this is quite dark clay, I've used white slip. By the way, this is porcelain slip, so which gives quite a nice shine to the piece. You can use a normal white slip. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently stretch. Right. Now I'm going to start stretching it. You can see the cracks already coming through. I'm going to keep stretching it gently for not the clay to break as well. I'm going to if we really need to get this slip dried, unfortunately, I'm in the middle of autumn here, and the weather doesn't help me to dry stuff very easily. So, but this is what we're going to, we have to keep stretching it till we get some nice I'm going to start stretching it more now because I've tried. So this is very earthy, very, very wabi-sabi very organic kind of a piece, not obviously for your dining table, but obviously for a good aesthetic kind of sculptural. So what has happened is the slip hasn't dried very well due to my weather conditions here, but I'm trying my best to get the nice creases, which I normally get when I'm doing. We will try one more little piece, but if you can see the so a very rough organic shape and texture. Looks like a cracked earth. I'm trying to stretch as much as I can, but as I said, the slip hasn't dried as much as it should. So we need to make sure that the slip has really dried well. Sodium silicate has dried because the cracks are coming on well, but the slip is not accompanying the cracks as much as it should. But here you are. If you can see the cracked surfaces the sodium silicate has created, you will get to know. And obviously you can use it for many other different slips or different clays or different forms. But this is just a basic experimentation with this type of liquid glass for you. While you're looking at these, I will bring a few of my pieces, which you may have seen on my presentation, and just explain a bit about my work. So again, this is a piece using slips, no silicone, no sodium silicate, but a bit of these crater glazes here, white ones. Something else I've experimented and tried with few more successes, but quite a few failures too, is using a mixture of vinegar and soda bicarb. You must have heard about this mixture. So if you use on a raw clay, vinegar and spray vinegar and add soda bicarb, these are the bubbles you can achieve. But again, it is very temperamental. Sometimes it gives me very flat textures, which I'm so disappointed. But sometimes I get these lovely little craters just by using vinegar and soda bicarb. And then I have these celadon glazes, which are nice and transparent, slips, oxides. So this piece I have named as Tales of the Deep, something which you see under the sea kind of thing. The other piece I would like to show you is, so this is black clay, just using simple gray and white slip, like I did in the first pot, and then running some crawl glaze over it. A very wabi-sabi kind of black moon jar, which is simple to do, but yet a wonderful aesthetics and lovely textures. A very popular one from my gallery here. And then I have, again, this bowl using three different clays, white, black, and brown. Lots of slips, a lot of thick slip over it, and just the effect the slips and oxides can create for you. It's amazing. Just using simple materials, simple techniques, but lots of love, and let your fingers and your feelings lead the way. I'm not the one to design and plant my pots. I let my fingers take where the clay takes me. I let my fingers and my feelings lead the pot. The pot has a basic formation in my mind, but sometimes it just comes out totally different than what I have planned. So I hope you've enjoyed these different simple yet unique textured techniques I've showed you. And I hope you take home something with you and try something. Or maybe you've done this before and you can improvise or get some little ideas from here. So that's it.
Yeah. So, Kashmira, we have queries for you.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Rachna has asked that do you use oxides for making colorful slips or stains?
Stains. I use stains. And the peach slip which I used this morning, in this demonstration, is a ready-made slip. So it was already peach colored. My white slip is porcelain slip, which I make from the porcelain clay. And I use
proportion?
stains.
Is there
Yes,
any
sorry.
Is there any proportion that you use it in with stains?
Not really, because some stains are quite powerful. So you have to be careful what stains you use. Now, that's, for example, this one is a pink nano stain. I don't know whether you can see it or not.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, so it's quite strong. So I would use, depending how the colors. And in the slip, it's what you see. So when you mix the slip, and if it's light, you can add some more. So it's not what when it's fired. It's more or less what the color, what you see comes out. So you have to experiment and always test styles. Do test styles before you make your slips. But my favorite slip is the porcelain slip. I use a lot of white slips in my thing, and then add on different stains. Or I haven't used oxides in my slips yet.
Okay. So Sandhya has a question on the same line. Do stains tend to burn off while firing?
No, not really. So stains are like oxides, but I think they have a different chemical composition in it. They are matte, so they will come out thing. If you bear with me, I can bring a piece. I can bring a piece of some stained using stains thing. Yeah. So I don't think so. burn out. Like oxides, they will give you a different color. So this is a piece these are sculptural pieces I've made for like a little assembles. These are green stains, you can see. I'm quite far from my other gallery where my other works are, and I have some pieces where I've used stains. So yeah, I think oxides are more exciting because oxides do react quite a bit in the firing.
Okay. So Vibha has a question. Could you share how this process works on different clay, particularly terracotta?
Which process?
Um,
The one with the sodium silicate, or the one with the
yeah,
this
Vibha, you can
carbide?
Yeah, Vibha, is Vibha there?
Hello. Hi.
Yes,
Yeah.
hi, Vibha.
Yes, I was asking with the sodium silicate. How does it
Yes.
on different clays?
So sodium, yeah, there won't be much difference with sodium silicate at all because you're just using the crackling effect. So any clay will give the crackling effect. If you start using oxides and stains on terracotta, obviously terracotta has a very high content of iron in it. It won't absorb the stains and oxides, but the white slip and will take well, and sodium silicate will be as good as that. The only thing is that I don't use much terracotta clay, but terracotta clay dries very quickly, as from what I have experienced. So you'll have to be very quick in forming the cracks. That's what I feel. So the boomy sculpture of mine is terracotta clay, and that the oxides over it were red iron oxide, but it came out blue because the iron in the terracotta clay reacted with the red iron oxide, and it turned just a lovely little blue sort of thing. So if you're using oxides on terracotta clay, you will get different variations. But this technique of sodium silicate with white slip will be as good as any other clay. Yes, you'll be fine. Obviously, experiment, do test tiles, do little test pots, and you'll be fine.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your work is very beautiful and soulful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So Parul has another question. Do you always bisque and glaze fire, or do you also do single firing of these pieces?
No, I always bisque. I'm still traditional about it. I read a lot of American ceramists who have started doing one firing only, and I'm still skeptical because I use oxides a lot. I like to do my bisque firing and then do my oxides on my second firing because it just toasts well. The first, if you, I'm not sure about how people do the first firing, because when you do your bisque firing at 900 degrees or whatever, you've given enough substance to the clay to make it semi-porous, so your glaze can be absorbed properly in your second firing. If you're going to put your glazes on your first fire, like before your first firing, like on this wet clay, the glaze is not going to absorb it very well. So my theory is always bisque fire. I know it is a big process. For us here in Europe, it's cost a lot of electricity bills, really very high because of the electric kilns. But the two firings give the pieces much more robustness. The clay gets nice and robust in two firings, especially stoneware if you want to do outdoor sculptures. two firings is quite necessary, I think. Yeah.
In one of the technique, you had mentioned that you do put slip on the bisque fire as well.
Yes. Oh, yes. Lips you can use on bisfire because
Wo-
that, yes.
Wouldn't they just flake off?
No. So all these pots I've shown you, I have slips on my first firing. Slips I usually put on wet clay. So the first pot I showed you was quite wet. It hadn't dried really. It wasn't even leather hard. It was before leather hard, and it the slip. So basically, I'm adding slip. I'm adding another layer of colored liquid clay onto onto clay, basically. So it's not something which it's not a glaze. It doesn't have any other glaze compositions. It only is clay in water. So it's
But
slip.
after that, do you put transparent on it or no, nothing?
No, not now. So if you're going to bisfire this first.
No,
So
I'm
sorry.
asking after bisque firing, if you
Yes.
put slip, and at that point you would need a transparent glaze, or you don't even use transparent glaze?
I don't use transparent glaze at all. My favorite glaze is called clear crackle, which I just put lashes of clear crackle because my style is rough and smooth, and it's kind of wabi-sabi. So it's like matte somewhere, and like matte somewhere and glossy somewhere. So I don't really use a pure transparent glaze at all in my style. But coming back to the slip is another coating of wet clay. Take it as that. So you're putting slip on the already wet pot. You're firing it. It'll give a nice, it won't give a shine, but it'll give a nice colored layer to it. After this fire, you can add more glazes over it, like I've done in my Tales of the Deep pot. I've added more thing. So the more layers you put on a piece, some things will emerge, come out, something will react with something else, and you will just get a good mixture of unexpected kind of a result. So slip is always used with wet clay, mostly. Yeah.
Swati has a question. In your silicon carbide piece, do you also use glazes or you omit glazing altogether?
In the carbide ones, yes, I do use glazes. So this one is pure silicon carbide. Yeah. And on top, I used the cobalt. So I've used cobalt in the same mixture, added some wood ash as well, because I like the wood ash effect. So wood ash and cobalt is mixed with the same mixture on top.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions?
Any more questions?
Okay, everyone is loving it. They have
Yeah.
sent out
Uh,
messages.
Good evening, ma'am.
Hello, yes, Ashish.
Yeah. Can I know, ma'am, which oxide is the most important things to make a texture glaze?
Oxides
I
to
mean,
make
suppose
sorry, I didn't get your question. Sorry.
no, suppose the lots of oxide are there. So which oxide is the play most important? Uh, uh, which oxide? Which one is the most oxide to make textures in the surface of the
Okay.
pot?
Yes. Well, if it's white or brown crank clay, red iron oxide is the best one to come out the textures. If you just bear with me, can I have that plate of mine? The plate which you bought. So red iron oxide is one of the best oxides to bring out the textures on white clay or brown clay, not so much on black clay. So here I have a plate, which is one of my students' plate, but obviously she's gone through with my instructions. So this is red iron oxide. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is red iron oxide with my lace textured effect. So red iron oxide is what comes out as you do it. I could have done a demonstration, but I didn't think about doing oxide demonstrations. But it's a very enhancing. And then the other oxide to use is copper carbonate, which comes out slightly green, and if it turns out black if it's overheated, but it's a lovely green. It's a lovely green copper carbonate. So copper carbonate,
Is there any
cobalt. So this is copper
yeah
carbonate.
yeah is there any specific percentage, ma'am, to how much percentage I should add in the main base recipe?
All right. So water.
Suppose
So yeah, if you're doing oxide wash, it's a very simple recipe. Just 1 tablespoon of oxide with, say, 3 tablespoons of water. So 1:3 proportion is fine, or even more if you want more watered down oxide. But if you're using your oxides in your glaze recipes, yeah, then you have proper like proportions. 2% for cobalt, because cobalt is very strong, or even 1% of cobalt, yeah, or 4% of, say, copper, not copper carbonate, but there's another yellow copper one, red iron oxide, and they have proportions. You have to follow the glaze recipes for that. When you're adding oxides into your glazes. But if you're doing an oxide wash, like my plate I showed you, that is just a watery solution, and you rub it off as you apply it to get the textures out. I hope I'm explaining it properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think any more questions, anyone? Okay. I think
ma'am.
Yeah.
So dimension. Suppose I want dimension textures like up and downs, and also sleep texture. It will help me a lot, right, ma'am? Compare
Uh,
then oxide.
Depending what texture it is. Like the lace, I showed you my plate with my student's plate. That texture needs oxide wash. Yeah, because the oxides really seep in to the, and they're better off on a bisqueware. Yeah, not the raw, not the greenware, because oxide will absorb very quickly into the greenware. It has to be bisqueware. Oxide would give you more textured effect than slips. Slips, you apply slip and then do a texture on top, like the pot I did. Yeah. Slips will not create you textures unless you create textures on top. Yeah.
Sorry, ma'am, I didn't get you. First, I have to apply sleep, right? After applying the sleep, so
You do
start.
textures. Yeah. So for slips, you apply the slip and
Okay.
then you do textures like we did for the first pot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
But
Perfect.
for
Got it.
oxide, you create a texture first, bisfire it,
Okay.
and then do an oxide wash.
Okay.
Yeah. If you go on my Instagram, I have a couple of videos where I've done this this lace dish. I have done this. I've done this demo.
Okay.
It's quite a year ago or something, but you will find it. So you do the lace on your greenware, bisque fire it, and then apply the oxides. And you will get this lovely texture.
Got it, ma'am.
Yeah.
Got it, ma'am. Got it. Got it, ma'am.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Thank you, Ashish.
Thank you,
Thank you.
ma'am.
I hope everybody enjoyed the demonstrations.
Thank you, Kashmira.
Yeah, thank you, Falguni.
I think it was great. And
Oh, thank you.
everyone
Well,
enjoyed. And I shared your Instagram on the group also and here on chat. So yeah.
okay, yeah, that's fine. Because if somebody wants to see, now what I'm going to do with these pieces, I'm going to fire them and glaze them or whatever, and keep posting the process for
Yeah.
the members to see, and I can tag ICAF at that
Okay.
time. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So apart from the technical glitch in the big thing, I hope everything went okay.
Yeah, that always happens in Zoom some more of the time. Like
I know.
yesterday we did, it was everything was okay.
Yeah, everything was
Today-
perfect. And today I don't know what happened. And I'm using these things and they're connected. So I'm not very flexible to pick up my stuff, sort of thing. Yeah.
Charge.
But I think what has happened is my earpods, I forgot to charge them. Didn't realize.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And hope
Thank
to
you,
see you
Kashmira.
sometime. Yeah, just to let you know, I'm in India from January to March. And if anybody wants to connect with me, I will be in Anand, Vidyanagar, Vallabh Vidyanagar in Gujarat. And if anybody is coming that way, I don't have a studio there, but obviously it'll be nice to meet up anybody. I will go to Ahmedabad and visit a few artists which I've connected here, and maybe Baroda as well. And Falguni, maybe I'll come and see you in Calcutta if time
Sure.
permits.
Yes.
Thank you.